So I have over 71 custom AIs that I've built that are in ChatGPT and Claude. But the interesting thing is most people aren't creating custom AIs for themselves. They're stuck in basic chat, getting maybe 10% of the value of what they could really get from AI. And honestly, they're missing out on some interesting stuff, like an AI specialist that focuses on taxes for me that saved me 10,000 this year, or a YouTube title creator that actually created the title for this very video. And what I want to do in this video today is I want to walk you through the framework I use to decide on when to create a custom AI, and then three very practical examples of GPT projects I've created for myself that I use on a daily basis. So, with that being said, let's dive into it. Alrighty. So, there is somewhat of a gap that I've seen between most users and those that are the most advanced users, because the most advanced users are actually using custom AI, I would say 80% of the time when they interact with either Claude or ChatGPT. But most people I've seen, they tend to use just the chat only, and if they use GPT projects or custom GPTs, they tend to do it in a small amount of time. But the issue with this is that when you use chat only, even with ChatGPT and their memory feature, the customization is somewhat minimal, and more importantly, the specialized knowledge about you and the task you're trying to achieve is quite minimal as well. So what I recommend is thinking through when is the best time to use these tools. And here's a simple framework I like to use. And there's a series of questions you want to ask yourself. So the very first question you're going to ask yourself is what I'm doing right now something that I'll do more than once? So is it something you're going to do daily, weekly, monthly? What's the repetitive frequency of this? That's the first question you want to ask yourself. Because if it is more than once, if it's two, three times a week, a month, etc., then that's a good candidate for a GPT project or custom GPT. The next question you want to ask yourself is going to be, does quality matter to me? So, how important is me achieving this task in a high quality way? So, if it's just a casual thing that's kind of you're just looking for a casual use case that good enough is all right for you, so such as basic searches, etc., then maybe putting in the work to create a GPT project or custom GPT may be outside of bounds. But if quality matters and you really want to ensure that this task is done correctly, then maybe customizing that GPT for your specific need is going to get you there faster. So once you understand, is it repetitive and does quality matter? Then the next question is who's it for? So is this specific custom AI just for you or is it for others within your team? Because if it's just for you, then I'd recommend doing a GPT project, mainly because it has more features, but also it is tailored and private to you. The next thing is if you're doing this and your other team has, your people on your team have access to GPT, if you have GPT teams or even Claude teams, you want to do a custom GPT in this case. And reason being is that if they're going to need the access to this customized AI, then custom GPTs is the only way to do that, where you can share that GPT with them, either within your existing team's enterprise, or you can even make it completely public where anybody that has access to the link can use this custom GPT. So now that we've asked the three questions of, is this repetitive? How important is it, and who needs access to it, then I want to finally show you one last thing, which is really the difference between these two. Because oftentimes when people are inside of ChatGPT, they don't necessarily understand the difference between a custom GPT and a GPT project. The primary difference between the two is going to be shareability. So, like I mentioned previously, GPT projects are personal use only, but custom GPTs can be shared with the team and also they can be shared publicly with people outside of the team. So if that's important for you for sharing this custom AI to others, then you want to use custom GPTs. But if it's personalized, I'd recommend going with projects because first, it is personal use only, but more importantly, there's a lot more features and a lot more functionality with GPT projects. And just two to call out, or actually three, is GPT projects now have custom memory, meaning that this specific project can have a persistent memory throughout all of your conversations. So when you have future conversations with a specific custom AI, it's going to know your preferences from previous conversations you've had in this context. Two other features that GPT projects have that custom GPTs don't is deep research and agent mode. Agent mode allows your AI to then go through the browser and do a bunch of tasks. This is in beta and still somewhat new. And deep research allows you to do deeper research, hence the name. And you can do deep research for probably 30 minutes or so, and it'll come back with a 20-page report that's like McKinsey level research. Oh, hey. So, this video is brought to you by me. Below is a 30-day AI Insight series. You'll get 30 insights in your box of how to apply AI to your business and your work. If that's at all interesting you, check out the link. It's completely free. Also, while you're down there, there's another link to see if there's a good fit between the two of us if you'd like to work with me. That being said, let's dive back in. Those are the primary differences. Now let's get into examples. So I wanted to give you three examples of practical GPTs that I use on a daily basis. So this first one is YouTube title creator. So hence the YouTube title for this video was created by this GPT. And the way I created this title creator, I go through a different process for each GPT I create. So the first thing is when I'm using this, what I do is I share my notes. So I share my video notes of what I want to talk about in the video. I pass it off to the AI, and the AI here is going to take that in and it's going to review a database of proven titles that have specific frameworks that work for YouTube. It then comes back and gives me 3 to 6 optimized titles based off the content I provided through a proven framework that's likely going to get more clicks and views. Now, the question is, how did I create this? Well, the way I created this is that there's a database. So there's a newsletter that I'm subscribed to called Creator Hooks, and they have a huge archive of newsletters they've written on different frameworks for titles. So I scanned the entirety of this database. I created a separate text file. I uploaded this text file to my AI. So my AI then has this in its brain. So anytime that I ask the AI a question, it's going to refer to this massive database that I scanned. It's going to check and see what are the best frameworks that I've used. And it's also going to check a persistent file that I've always added to over time of titles I've already used. So it's going to make sure that whatever it gives me is something that's net new, not something I've used, and it's proven to work in this framework database. So it's a pretty cool flow. It works very well. And it's just one of many GPTs I've created. Like I said, I have 71 of these. And I wanted to show you what GPT projects look like kind of in reality. So when you go to your menu here in the upper left-hand corner, you're gonna have a bunch of options. You wanna go to new project. When you go to new project, you can give it a title. The memory feature that I mentioned is in the settings here. You have default and project only. Default means the memory persists across the entirety of your overall application. Project is specific to this memory or specific to this project you're creating. After you've created it, you can add two things here. So you can either add a file or an instruction. The instructions are going to be probably one of the more important parts where you've created a system prompt that's very hyper tailored to this task. I'm not going to walk you through the entire thing here, but the reason being is you can use optimizers. So if I take you here, this is the ChatGPT or ChatGPT 5 optimizer that's going to optimize your prompts. So you can basically give it a basic prompt in here and you click optimize down here. It's going to optimize that prompt for GPT-5, improving its ability to get higher quality outputs based off of your intent for that system prompt. The same thing applies to Claude. So if you're using Claude, you can go here, which is in console.anthropic.com, go to generate prompt, and this is going to allow you to then create a specific prompt for the AI using its prompt generator or improver. So that's our first example. Our next example is the tax specialist. So, like I said, this saved me around 10,000 this year, which is pretty cool. And the way that this works is I first initially started out is having an AI interview me before I created this GPT project at all. I needed to figure out what does an AI specialist care about when it comes to my business, my finances, etc. So I can then ensure that it asks me the most effective questions and also gives me the best advice. So I had a basic AI. So this could be ChatGPT or Claude without any projects or customization. I just tune it a little bit saying that you're an AI specialist. I want you to ask me one question at a time. Every answer I provide you informs the next question that you ask, and your main intent and goal as an AI is to understand my business, my finances, so you then can create a prompt for a future AI to act as my tax specialist. Something like that. And when you give that prompt to it, it's going to ask me a series of questions. It's going to interview me. It's going to ask questions about my finances, my business structure, etc. Once I've gone through this interview and we've asked all these questions, at the very end, it's going to output a summary of that conversation. I'm going to take both that conversation and that summary. I'm going to pass this into a stronger AI, which is going to be probably Opus 4.1 or maybe GPT-5 high thinking. I'm going to ask it to using best practices for prompting the specific model that's going to be associated to my project. So that can be GPT-5 thinking or Opus 4.1. I'm going to say using best practices for that prompting system. I want you to create a system prompt that encapsulates this entire conversation in summary into an AI that then can be my advisor for AI for taxes and corporate taxes specifically. And then once I have this and I've captured all that business context in this system prompt, I can then bake it into my GPT project, which then acts as my advisor. So anytime that I need assistance when it comes to corporate taxes, I ask for advice from my AI advisor. I do have an actual tax specialist, so I'll pass this off to my tax specialist, the human that I work with. And out of the major asks that I've made of my human tax specialist based off of being informed from my AI, 4 out of 5 of them have been spot on. And the real tax specialist has been genuinely surprised and started applying AI to their own research and understanding and has improved their practice as well. So it's really cool to see the impact of this AI having not just on me, but also the person I work with that has been in taxes for a long time. That's our second example. And our third example is a writer. So this is for LinkedIn posts. Now, this is something that I use to improve existing drafts I've written. So the way that this flow works is I write my first draft for a LinkedIn post. Once I've written this, I'm going to run it through my LinkedIn post writer. That's going to improve that post following specific power formats that resonate most with LinkedIn. Now the question is how did I get these power formats? Well, luckily, anytime you're on a social media platform, there's going to be a bunch of gurus that talk about different types of tactics that work best, at least in that month or that quarter, to get more clicks and views, etc., for a specific format or a method of communication. And I was lucky enough to find somebody called Matt Gray that created a PDF that was the 5 proven formats that work for LinkedIn, at least right now. So what I did is I took this PDF, I extracted out all the data. Once I've extracted it out, I then converted that data into a system prompt that it baked into my GPT, my custom GPT. So anytime that it gives a first draft, it's going to reference these 5 proven formats, figure out which one is most suitable for this specific topic, and it's going to then rewrite that first draft into that power format so I can then publish that on LinkedIn with an optimized post. And this is just another one of the examples that have proven to be very useful for me. And again, like I said, I have tons of these projects. I actually counted them before this video. I have 28 8 in GPT, ChatGPT, and I have 43 inside of Claude. As you can tell, probably by the numbers, I do have a preference for Claude, but I still use GPT from time to time. And I want to share with you that these are just 3 examples. Like I said, there's tons of them, which means that there's different ways you can use these tools. These are just different categories that I've used the tools for and I've seen other people use them for. So we have research, specific types of contextual aware research. We have writing, like I've shown you. We have sparring. So if you want to spar with somebody when it comes to debating or intellectually trying to challenge yourself in a certain area, you can use AI in that process. You can get advisors, like I have, like I stated, for corporate tax and other things. You can have therapy, so different types of therapists that are specialized in certain types of philosophies or approaches. You have different types of coaches for fitness and different types of things. You have different AIs that can do data analysis for certain types of specialties and data cleaning for certain data sets that you run through the AI on a consistent basis. Where if you keep dropping in the same file over and over, week, it knows exactly how to clean it in the way that you prefer. So these are just a few different ways and categories you can use these specialized custom AIs for. And I recommend trying to make the most out of all of them, which is kind of the main point I want to leave you with, is that I want you to kind of start today. Go out and build a project with GPT and figure out what use cases. Remember, these are the questions. What use cases are repetitive? Anything you're doing more than once? How important is quality for you? Is this something going to be shared with me or others? And then once you've answered those 3 questions, and that's going to direct you down into either a custom GPT or a GPT project. And then from there, you want to build a system prompt with one of the methods I've shared with you, or an approach you want to use using the optimizers that are going to help you with the prompt. After you've done all that, you're going to have a GPT that you can incrementally improve over time as you use it over and over. And that's it. So if you enjoyed this, please share it with your friends. And as I mentioned earlier, below is a link to a free 30-day AI Insight series. You'll get 30 days of insights in your inbox of how you can apply AI to your business and your work. Also, if you'd like to work with me, below is another link down there to see if there's a good fit. If you'd like to watch another video, right here, somewhere around here, is a video that the YouTube gods think you'll like. That being said, I'll see you around.